Over to you, Krishna ji.
Thank you, Shrikant, for this wonderful invite. Before we start the session, can I request each of you to close your eyes and do your personal prayers and center yourself, if need be, with a couple of deep breaths, and wait for instructions to open your eyes. So you're done. With a few blinks, you can open your eyes. Good. So Yoga Nidra as a topic is very fascinating, and like how each and every process has been brought out of the closet by the great adepts whom we call siddhas and great yogis. These processes are there right from time immemorial, and many of you would have seen Lord Mahavishnu reclining on a serpent with half closed and half open eyes. And the tradition says he conducts this entire operation of sustenance from the state of Yoga Nidra. So that is how ancient this particular topic is. The second reference we have is from another great text called Devi Mahatmyam. It's all 700 verses on couplets on the divine as Mother Durga. There too, we have a mention of Yoga Nidra. So this is a very, very ancient, at least the word is very ancient. But the technique was hidden from the public for many eons. And in the 1970s, it was released to common public. So how this process happens is, if you notice now, particularly from the year 2014-15, there is a sudden craze to know more about yoga as a system. For the last 100 years, people were studying yoga mainly as asana, that is posture. So when someone tells I'm studying yoga, or I just came back from a yoga class, we clearly understood they practiced some postures. And then gradually now, if you see in the West, the pranayama techniques are being rebranded as breath work, and so many names are floating around, correct? And in 70s, Swami Rama of the Himalayan tradition and Swami Satyananda deemed it right to bring this ancient process to the public domain. In 1948, Swami Satyananda's teacher, Guru, Swami Shivananda Saraswati, realized that there needs to be a systematic study of yoga as a system. And then in 1948, he started Yoga Vedanta Forest Academy. There, even today, the 2-month course is offered free for Indian citizens. And they are continuing the tradition of offering what was started by Swami Shivananda. And Swami Satyananda is a direct disciple of Swami Shivananda. And he started not only yoga teacher training from the 1970s, he also brought in and initiated a lot of women into the sannyasa, which was done very rarely till that time. So Swami Shivananda and him, based on the need of the time, they brought in certain traditions, rituals, and processes. And they said time is right for people to do this. They perhaps found that world is going to have a crisis during transformation like all of us have. For example, most of us have worked in corporate. If you ever attend a program on emotional resilience, stress management, they will say that when you are going through a big change in life, it could be marriage or divorce, it could be loss of job or starting of a job. Any major change brings with it stress because it is an unknown component. People will need to learn how to manage that. And Swami Satyananda realized, and Swami Rama also realized, world would go through a lot of uncertainty. For example, earlier when you book a telephone in India when I was a child or a two-wheeler, I'm sure many of you can relate. You have to wait sometimes for 10 years to take delivery. It was not easy to get a landline connection. Today, everyone has multiple phone connections, correct? So when people were used to a very slow-paced life, stress was something very, very unheard of, unless they created it for themselves. Today, we are bombarded with many things from all possible directions. 8 plus 2, 10 directions, we say in tradition. But I also have included one more, which is your mind, which is the 11th one. So from 11 directions, we are bombarded with stress. And many of them are unfound. But whom you will go and say, many times you are left to fend alone. Correct? Because in olden days, small homes, many people lived. You could catch up with anybody to unload whatever you are thinking. Today, huge homes, rarely people live. Only weekends people are there. Correct? So the system is going through a big change. So what the great ones do generally is they release certain processes which are very, very needed for the time and age we live in. And they also withdraw some processes. It is not only they keep releasing certain things, they will also take back certain things which are not needed. It's like you're moderating whatever is available. So in 1971, Swami Rama, through his disciples, was tested for this process at the Menninger Foundation in the US using electroencephalogram, EEG. Today we know that the wires are connected to the brain and they map the brain studies, wherein we have 5 types of waves generated in the brain. And when you are in deep sleep, delta wave is generated. And when you are not particularly focusing on anything, like you are just on the seashore, you are just there. If someone tests you, you will see alpha waves are being generated by your brain. When nothing particular you are hankering behind or pounding upon, mind naturally releases alpha waves. And if you notice last 20 years, this alpha waves meditation has become a very big craze. In between alpha and delta is the theta waves. They are also fantastic and they are produced when the mind is in the meditative state. Okay. Now, when you are having your day-to-day work, the beta and gamma waves, they are generated a lot. Gamma waves is as good as cacophony. Like you are in a Bombay local, many of you would have experienced how noisy it is. Or you go to the market on a weekend or a Friday market, something is going on, but more only sound is there. So gamma is when your brain is pounded with lot of things, gamma happens. And in yoga, we have used that also, like, knife can be utilized in both the ways, correct? To protect yourself and also do whatever is not required as well. Like that gamma waves, Using yoga processes, you can turn it to your advantage. And beta waves is when most of us are constantly there. If we don't check, we will be only overthinking in life. And many of you may be knowing this word alphabet has come from alpha and beta. So alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and theta. That is how the sequence. They are right. So what Swami Rama demonstrated was in deep state, which is delta, generally there is no rapid eye movement. When you and I sleep generally, there is movement of the eyes. So the dreams happen, imaginations. You don't know whether you're half asleep or half awake. That's all happening because of rapid eye movement. Technically, we call it REM. But in delta, it is called a non-REM state, wherein it signifies you are having a very, very deep sleep. The beauty is Yoga Nidra can take us to delta, which is very deep sleep. And all of us know a deep sleep gives us relaxation, right? Only that can give relaxation. If you keep getting up in the night many times, there is no relaxation, correct? The beauty is proper Nidra is delta. In Yoga Nidra, you continue to be in delta, but you are awake. This is a technical way through neuroscience you can understand Yoga Nidra. Is we take the mind systematically to the delta wave in that pattern in the brain after the 5 waves, yet you are not asleep. So when someone practices Yoga Nidra at this level, which at Srimad we take people at the level 4 Yoga Nidra, when people are practicing level 4 Yoga Nidra to the letter T, the delta waves begin to work. Why I'm approaching this topic? One of the questions raised for us is, can we work with subconscious mind using Yoga Nidra? When can you work with subconscious mind is when you are either in alpha or in this delta. Okay. So there is a possibility of you exploring the subconscious mind and habits and patterns change. Else you may be practicing Yoga Nidra for 20 years, nothing will happen. As our alumni knows, it's not about the length of time you practice, it is how consistent and with intention and how deep your practice is. So this is the background of Yoga Nidra. Now what happened is, Swami Rama was able to recall everything what was being spoken in the lab while his brain was emitting delta. That is what astonished the scientists in the year 1971. His disciple Swami Vedabharati went one step ahead. Maybe they didn't measure Swami Rama the way they measured Swami Vedabharati. Even after Swami Vedabharati woke up from Yoga Nidra, his mind was in delta and theta. He was conversing like how we are conversing. That means by practice, you can manage to, I don't want to use the word dictate, you manage to regulate the way your brain has to function. Okay. So this is very, very important thing to know. Now, this is the lab side approach of Yoga Nidra. Now, what Swami Satyananda did was he trained a disciple in multiple languages and multiple knowledge. While the disciple was not even a teenager, the disciple was made to sleep in the room where Swami Satyananda was taking classes to the disciples. So here comes the deep impact of Yoga Nidra. So what is the lesson we get here is, it's a very subtle lesson, is till our mind is not developing the I, me, myself, that ego identification of an individualized identification, our mind is always like a sponge open to learning. It can take it. So in Yoga Nidra, what are we trying to do? We are trying to come away from all the sheaths or the coats or the coverings what we put for ourselves, so that we become once again a child. And if you noticed, many of you may be living in apartment complexes, or your children may be studying in schools where the children speak multiple languages. Nobody teaches them, they pick up the language. Have you observed that? So this is how they pick up through the sounds. Okay? Because their mind is not into too much judging. The mind of a child lives in the present moment. So in Yoga Nidra, what we do, we gradually train people to take their mind to the present moment, because in the present, there is no future. What you do in the present creates your future. And even you meditate on your past, it's going to be troublesome in the now. Okay, so this moment of now, Yoga Nidra practice can create, which we read in books and listen in podcasts. See, we need to understand something. Intellectually, today things are available in Google, discussions, books, so much material is available. But how to bring it to life? We need to go to the tradition or a teacher who can help us to sift through the heaps of information and take only what you need. Correct? What everybody knows, I need to relax. How to relax, nobody knows. Because people think they go to vacation, they relax, they come back more tired from vacation. Right, Bhavana? This is what happens generally. Okay. So now I was addressing these type of questions were there before we started the session. Okay. Any observations till now? Any questions till now? Okay. So can I move to the next? Okay. Now, I was telling you about not just we need to know what has to be done, how to do it. The title of this podcast itself is Inspire Someone Today, right? What we have to do, we have to inspire. But what the conceptualizer of this entire theme, Shrikant, did, he said, how? This is how you do it. You understand? This is very basic things. Success comes when what and how is married. So what we are going to do using Yoga Nidra technique is, we need to get into understanding of how the body relaxes, and we also practice and experience how it relaxes. Okay. So for this purpose, we also need to understand one more concept from our tradition, which is called the Pancha Kosha, means 5 sheets. Pancha is 5, Kosha is sheet. Any knowledge or any change in any human being is possible only when whatever we are practicing touches all these 5 sheets. If you only intellectually satisfy someone, it's not going to change. If you're only going to convince somebody, it's not going to change. If you're only going to emotionally connect, it's not going to change. If you only do physically like asana, nothing is going to change. You are getting it? You need to integrate all these things and work as a system. So what we do in Yoga Nidra is, we tap the little man in the brain. So you have an area in your brain which is called little man. It is like a child cuddled inside a mother's womb. That is how the blueprint is there in our brain. Each of us have that. When you reach that out, your physical level relaxation immediately starts. You're understanding? Then in the next level Yoga Nidra, we take people to the joints and the breath. The joints also has air, breath is naturally having prana. Okay, so that is handled. Then through the resolve, the mind is handled. Whenever you do a level 3 onwards Yoga Nidra, it gives more benefit and it makes sense when you practice with a resolve. Because each of us have stress because of something which you are afraid you will not achieve. Please correct me if I am wrong. That is the reason why we have stress, right? So today we started, for a second, we lost connection. So Shrikant came back and asked, right? Are we connected? Are we doing it? You got it. So the entire effort till it ends, that is going to be stress. But how are we going to manage it? By only giving our best. Correct? So this stress, what is the cause of anybody's stress is one thought which we know commonly as a desire. If the desire we understand how to handle, you will understand how to handle stress. Why it is important? We will die without stress. People have to understand this. People think they are dying due to stress. That is secondary. If you don't have stress, you will have boredom in life and you will not know what to do. You will invite all lifestyle diseases to yourself. This is a very important point. Please invite stress because you learn how to manage it. Without stress, there is no growth. With stress, the egg breaks, right? Chicken is there. With stress, only a child is born. With stress, the pupa becomes a butterfly. Without stress of deadline, sometimes things never get achieved. Today, they speak about smart goals, no? Smart, measurable. Unless there is a goal and there is a basic manageable stress, nothing will get done in life. We have to understand. So if you are wanting to have a stress-free life, only a dead body or a realized soul can have it, because one is unaware and another is completely aware. All of us are walking towards that, both of it, but definitely death is there. Whether we realize or not, that is, we don't know, at least this life or next life. But we are all in between, right? So we will have our own degrees of stress. And with this knowledge only, you should get into the practice of Yoga Nidra. We cannot just download a script or an audio and start listening to it without having this background. And nothing is a foolproof unless you change your lifestyle. So when you do Yoga Nidra completely as a module, you will understand how to adjust and change and adapt the lifestyle so that the Yoga Nidra process gives you amplified benefits. Okay, so we begin with the little man in the brain, and then with the breath, you are countering the mind, because when you have anxious thoughts, there is shallow breathing. We cannot directly manage thoughts because all our thoughts are waiting to be scratched. They are only tip of the iceberg. Moment you try to counter them, they will give you one more point, which you will be scratching your head, or you will be shouting at the top of the voice to your spouse or your children. They don't know why you are shouting. Because when you meddle with your mind without understanding, it's a problem. So what happens? The breath and the mind are the sides of the same coin. So when they have arranged in the Upanishad, the koshas, the sheets, they have arranged the physical first, second is the prana, then the mind. So what is the understanding we have? The breath, which is technically called prana, when it deepens, it directly impacts your brain waves, quietening it. So this is how we have to study anything systematically. And then using your intellect, you narrow down which desires are there. There are various methods we share through which they can shortlist and filter the desires. And then the practice of Yoga Nidra takes a complete shape. Now, should someone wait to learn completely to experience relaxation? Not necessary. When they faithfully practice the level 1 or level 2 Yoga Nidra, which today we would be practicing the level 2 Yoga Nidra seated on a chair. Okay? Because you don't need to have a yoga mat, go in search of it. If you are not having, don't worry. Sit on a chair with back straight and just go through the instructions. And this is very easy to practice every day. Why it is very easy? Your best friend is you, your worst enemy is you. And if your appointment of the day with you is good, the entire day you can manage anything which comes down. So we should think of Yoga Nidra as an appointment we have with ourselves before we are going to get into the very hectic day. We are not talking about people who need Yoga Nidra because they are insomniacs. That's a different subject altogether. We are not going to use Yoga Nidra to achieve Nidra, but we are going to use Yoga Nidra to achieve awareness and do better and clear in life. Okay, so I'm not treating any of you as a patient here. We are all here to learn something to improve our life and lifestyle. Okay, so people think meditation is important. It is extremely important, but we should know how to meditate, correct? And Yoga Nidra is a stepping stone to clear meditation. So we need to prepare well. So what we do when we share yoga as a system, Yoga Nidra is kept as the fifth limb of yoga. Meditation is kept as the seventh limb of yoga. And asana, which is posture, is third limb. Pranayama is the fourth limb. So when you go through 3, 4, 5, 6 is concentration, which naturally develops, which will lead you to meditation. So instead, if you dump directly to meditation, you will get up more stressed. So today, the key area is stress, how to bring it down. Now, how many of you have experienced frozen shoulders or neck pain or low back pain? Correct? This is basically stress building up and hitting first the weakest part in your body. Second, there's a systematic study which says if your L5 is affected, what is the reason? Psychological reason, because everything is psychosomatic. If your shoulders are heavy, what could be the reason? When you are carrying more than you can, you'll have cervical and you have shoulder issues. Sometimes you are imagining you are carrying more, that time also you will have a problem. Sometimes genuinely it is there. You take the entire load of the family. Sometimes imagination also leads to that. What happens, why I'm speaking today, we are seated on a chair, no? So I call these office chairs are all recipes for disaster. They're the moving chairs. Nobody will have a steady mind with moving chairs. So this L5, what happens? When stress gets accumulated, you want to prove or continuously you are doing something, nobody is giving attention, or there is a fear of failure, your L5 will start becoming a problem. People think sitting and working for long hours in office is creating low back problem. That is the physical side. The mental side is fear of non-acceptance and fear of failure. All these things we can iron out using Yoga Nidra. Like every day we get up, take bath, brush our teeth, have breakfast. Similarly, when you do everyday Yoga Nidra, it is your mental and physical housekeeping. It keeps you fresh in the mind and the body. Does that make sense? Okay. So the little man in the brain helps you to consciously relax in the body level. Working with the breath during Yoga Nidra helps as a precursor to calm down your mind. So today we can only do up to this level 2 in today's podcast. Any questions till now? Any area should I address? Yes, Shrikant?
Krishna, is there a specific time in the day when you need to practice Yoga Nidra?
Yeah. Ideally, half sleep, half awake, early morning is better. But if your routine is not allowing when you come back from your work, before even engaging with someone, because that generally causes eruption for us and others, disturbance, you can do a basic 12 to 15 minute Yoga Nidra, calm down, have a cup of water or tea, then talk with people. So it depends on our need. But if you are doing Yoga Nidra for inner exploration, self-discovery, deep meditative experiences, nothing to do with transactional life, I would suggest do it in the morning before you even start the day. But if you are a person who is already having a very high demand job or a high demanding family, we don't know, right? Many of us get into family not knowing how demanding it is. Office is equally demanding. So you practice first Yoga Nidra as a first aid before you start interacting with the people. It is for people at home we work, right? And there is no fun when we come and we erupt and there is another volcano waiting to erupt. So we just come home, relax, 12 to 15 minutes. We practice this consciously, then go back to the home, which is the world for which we work. So it depends on that. Third place how you can do this is, once you understand this concept, you can walk into your meeting room 5 to 6 minutes before. You can sit quiet and do the scanning of the body as per whatever you are learning. Something is better than nothing, right? So you are becoming well prepared to even attend a meeting. So these are the ways in which, based on our need, we can deploy Yoga Nidra. And for people who are having stress without knowing why, they don't know why they are going towards a goal, they have to invest time, energy, and learn till level 4 or level 7 to begin with till level 4. And then they'll be taught how to reduce, prioritize, and then take up one desire at a time and seed it as a resolve in Yoga Nidra to start seeing their desires come true. So whoever you, Srimad alumni who are here, all of them have seen at least one desire come true in their life organically. It's not magic. It is how Yoga Nidra works. And that is the reason some of them are attending today after 7 years of completing the program. So there is personal experience in many of them who have undergone this program. Okay. Does that answer your question, Shrikant? Yeah. Okay. So now, before we proceed further, I wanted to give clarification on a couple of terms which you will be hearing. Okay. One word you will be hearing is be aware. I'm not telling beware. Be aware. Okay. Whenever this word aware, you hear the word aware, you don't try to focus. Don't try to concentrate. So what is the easiest way? Try to maintain a smiling face throughout the practice. When you have a smiling face, your mind tends to automatically stay in the present moment. Okay? This is very, very important. So how to differentiate awareness and focus? In awareness, it is effortless. In concentration and focus, there is an effort. I'll give you one more example. How many of you are hearing some sounds in your room? Yeah. So you can say, I am aware of those sounds. So at home, when there is a discussion happening, one of us tell the word, yeah, I am aware that's happening, but I don't want to focus on it now. Particularly when you're dealing with teenage children, I'm just telling you a practical thing, right? So what we use the word, I am aware of what's going on, but I am not going to focus on that thing right now. Like that, when you sit in a place, a vehicle may pass, the fan may give you some sound, the air condition may once in a while make a heavy sound if you are using an old window air conditioner. While you are about to prepare for Yoga Nidra, somebody will ring the bell or someone will increase the TV volume. So what is happening? You are aware of all that is happening. The second key is in a non-reactionary mode. That is called awareness. Yeah, I am aware of it and you should not take off on the person. After your Yoga Nidra class, you cannot go and tell them, do you really have sins? I already told you I am practicing Yoga Nidra. If you ever use these statements, you are not ready for Yoga Nidra. Because the world will function the way it functions. We need to optimize the way we live within ourselves. When people see the change, they will change. Unless that, till that time, you have to just be aware of whatever is happening. It helps you to develop a non-reactionary mode, which we call it as a responsive mode. So when you're going to hear the word awareness, you are just going to be aware. Why I'm saying this? I would be saying be aware of the right shoulder. So with closed eyes, the tendency is to try and peep or look into your right shoulder. Don't do that. Let your eyes be very calm, quiet, and still. Deal your eyes like how you will deal with rose petal. Don't crush them. Don't torture them. Just internally through the mind, your eyes are still, and then you are directly looking at the right shoulder. Why? When you do this, you are preparing for deep delta waves. In delta wave, there is no rapid eye movement. Please go back to the first 2-3 minutes of this podcast. Non-rapid eye movement delta wave is the neuroscience-based scientific goal for Yoga Nidra. And what that does mean is deep relaxation and awareness in the practical level. So when we are not training ourselves to keep the eyes still, we will not be in a mindset to practice a non-REM. That means we will never allow our brain to rest. Only when the brain rests, it becomes prepared and it goes to a deeper state. Okay, so what I will recap. When you hear the word awareness, please know that it is not focus. It is hazy, but you know something is going on. You are there, and that is also happening there. Correct? Second, when you are aware, deep within tell whatever is happening for a reason. I am only going to respond. I am not going to react. I am only going to respond. Better not to use the word I am not going to react. You use the word I will only respond to people and situations. I am just practicing awareness. Is that okay? Now, once in a while, if you slip into sleep, don't worry. It may happen. It's quite natural. The moment you are aware you have dozed off, come back and continue listening to the instruction and go with the instruction. That is the second point. Is that clear? Now, the third point, to get the maximum benefit, never try to assess what the instructor is going to say next. That is not your job. Your job is to practice. Instruction is from the instructor. It is their headache. Don't think for somebody. You'll be more stressed. The session itself is reducing the stress. Why you want to think? Because our alumni knows in deeper yoga nidra, we will skip some body parts. If you are finicky with perfection or you have an obsessive compulsive disorder, you will get up from yoga nidra more stressed than before. So remember, your role is a practitioner. You are not an examiner there, or you are not a magician trying to predict what the teacher is going to tell next. Okay, is that all fine? If any questions are there, it's okay. You can ask. Else, we will do a short 12 to 14-minute yoga nidra. Yes. Thanks, Shrikant. Is it fine? Okay. How many of you are having a comfortable chair to sit? When I say comfortable chair, both the soles of the feet should firmly rest on the carpet. If you are wearing a house chapel, please wear it, because we need a non-conductor below your sole. If you are seated on a carpet, so be it. Yes, Anna. You have any doubt?
Can we sit in Padmasana?
Absolutely. Sit in a posture where your spine can be erect. If you're finding it too much, switch off the video, lie down. No problem. Okay? So I'll just give you 15-20 seconds to prepare. I will be opening the eyes because I can practice with open eyes. And I also have to check whether the internet connection is there. So for that purpose, I will keep my eyes open. You don't need to open your eyes and see what's going on because you are in your own home. It is a safe place. Mentally tell yourself you are in a safe place so that you will not open your eyes. Okay. And if you want to go off video, please feel free. If you want to be on video, also no problem. Now gently close your eyes. Those of you who are seated, the instructions are for you. Open out your chest. Relax your elbows. Place the palms facing the roof on your thighs. The soles firmly on the ground. Those of you who are seated in meditative posture, you know what to do. The third category of people who wish to lie down and practice, ensure the heels are facing each other and they are at least 1.5 to 2 feet away. That helps your lower back to relax better. Now allow the hands to be slightly away from the body with the palms facing the roof. This position helps your neck to relax. You can adjust your neck, shoulders if you are lying down and feel rest completely. Remember, this is a precursor to meditation. And Swami Satyananda says, Yoga Nidra is the first step towards transcendence. So it's a very, very important process. Like the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu said, in the journey, every step is very important. And the journey begins with the first step. So Yoga Nidra, you can safely consider as the first step towards self-discovery. Let the eyes be gently closed. Have a smile on your face consciously. When you see a sunrise or a blossoming flower, you feel so relaxed and smiling, right? Hold that smile. Once you are steady in the posture, rotate your awareness on all directions and just observe the sounds around you. You are seated in nature. If it is daytime for you, you could hear chirping of birds, vehicles passing by. The sounds around you depend on where you are and the time of the day. With a smiling face, just go from one sound to the other sound and be aware. When we practice awareness of sounds, it helps us directly to increase silence in our mind. Now, shift the awareness from the sounds to your body. The body is comfortably lying down or seated. And as and when you hear a part of the body, keeping your eyes still and smile intact. Let me say once again, keep your eyes still and smile intact. Just take your awareness to the body part which would be mentioned one after the other. Be aware of the right thumb, right index finger, middle finger, ring finger, the right little finger. Now be aware of the right palm, the right hand, the right wrist, the right elbow, right shoulder, right shoulder blade, space between the right armpit to the waist, be aware of the right hip, right thigh, right knee, right calf, right ankle, right heel, sole of the right foot, the right big toe, second toe, third right toe, fourth toe, and the right little toe. Now gently bring your awareness to the left thumb, left index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, the left palm, left hand, left wrist, left forearm, left elbow, left upper arm, left shoulder, the space between the left armpit to the waist, left hip, left thigh, left knee, left calf, left ankle, left heel, left sole, the left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and the left little toe. You're completely aware and awake. The eyes are still and the smile intact. Now be aware of the toes of your feet, the 10 toes. The soles, the heels, ankles, calf muscles, the knees, thighs, buttocks, waist, the entire back from waist to the shoulder blades, the spinal column, be aware of both the arms from the shoulders to the fingertips, and from the fingertips back to the shoulders. Be aware of the nape of the neck, top of your head, the forehead, eyebrows, eyes, ears, nose, cheeks, lips, chin, neck, chest, abdomen, and run the awareness from the pelvic region to your toes. Now you're completely aware of your body, which is still and steady. With that state of steadiness, be aware of the breath. Just be a witness of the breathing process, which anyway happens whether we are aware or unaware. Let's not make a conscious effort to breathe deep, but just with a smiling face, observe the breath. Sometimes the mind would travel elsewhere. Get the mind back to the breath. Continue being aware of the breath with a smiling face and steady posture. Now, from the breath, bring your awareness to the body. Mentally observe how you are seated or lying down, still and steady. Now become aware of the sounds around you. Man-made, vehicles, music, birds, it could be anything. Just with a smiling face, be aware. Now, those of you who are seated, I'm giving the instructions for closure. Those of you who are lying down, be there. Those of you who are sitting, you can rub your palms vigorously to generate some heat and place the palms on the eyelids to transfer the warm sensation. Once again, palming. Press the palms against the ears and the cheeks. The last time palming. Place it at the nape of the neck and the back, low back. And hold the palms like a book, how you would read a book before you. And with a few blinks, gaze into the palms and stay still and silent till further instructions. Now, those of you who are lying down, get your legs together, interlock your fingers, take the hands above the head in line with the floor. And as you inhale, stretch yourself as if someone is stretching your spine. And as you exhale, relax. Now bend your left leg. Place the left palm on the abdomen. Turn to the right. Straighten the legs. Place the left palm before your chest on the ground. Keeping the eyes closed, with the help of the hands, gently come up to a seated position. And do practice palming. For your eyes alone is enough. Vigorously rub your palms. Once enough heat is generated, place it on the eyelids. Transfer the warm sensation. Hold the hands before you like how you would read a book. With a few blinks, look into your palms. Familiarize your eyes with the light around you. When you feel to come on camera, you can. We request the practitioners generally to keep a silence of 2 to 5 minutes, depending on the duration of the practice. Minimum 2 minutes works wonders. Technically, the session is over for today. If Shrikant has any observations or any areas which we could address, you can tell. If any of you have any questions, you can.
This was just wonderful experience, Krishna ji. I will let the participants, if anybody has any questions, to ask for it.
Okay. feel free to reach out to Shrikant or me, and you can note down the podcast there. For Srimad students, I will send this link to all of you in the WhatsApp group as well.
I will share the recording once it is available. And thank you, everybody. Have a great evening, and please continue the practice. And on behalf of everybody, Krishna ji, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you all.